otherwise members of this House are simply left wondering what this Secretary of State has to hide.
Point of order. The front bench will have heard what she has to say. She will know, and the House can testify, that I attach great importance to ministers making statements to the House of new policy. But such statements arise when... Order. I don't require any assistance. Order. Such statements arise when, and only when, there is a new policy to announce. There isn't a matter that engages the Chair today, but the Honourable Lady has placed her concerns on the record, and I thank her for doing so. Point of order, Mr Andrew Miller.
Mr Speaker, I want to raise a point of order which I've given you and the Leader of the House prior notice. This arises from a question I raised with the Leader of the House last Thursday about the publication of a response to the Science Select Committee's report on alcohol guidelines. I raised that because of a leak from the Home Office. It now appears that the leak was correct, and yet the government chose not to separate, for whatever reasons, the publication of its strategy and its response to the Select Committee, which was delayed by over a month. Now, this is not the right way to treat a Select Committee doing serious work on these matters, and it's quite clear that whilst the Leader of the House clearly did not mislead me, he did not tell me the full story. Could you use your good offices to ensure that this kind of incident does not happen again, because it undermines the work of Select Committees?
I note what the honourable gentleman says. He should be encouraged by the presence on the Treasury bench of the Deputy Leader of the House, who will have listened to and heard what he has to say. The gravamen of the honourable gentleman's complaint appears to relate to the relationship between the Science and Technology Committee and, in this case, the Home Office and perhaps the government more generally. I can say only that these are not matters of order on which the Chair can rule. The Select Committee should pursue these questions with the government, and if the committee is dissatisfied with the response, it should in the first instance take the matter up with the liaison committee. Point of order, Mr Christopher Chope.
Mr Speaker, I hope that you can guide the House in relation to what we're going to do with the finance bill when we get back, because there are 2 days set aside for committee on the floor of the House on the Wednesday and the Thursday immediately after Easter, but we haven't yet got the bill published. On the order paper tonight, there is a provision saying that amendments to the finance bill will be able to be tabled in advance of second reading, but we don't yet know what subjects in the finance bill will be considered on the Wednesday and Thursday of the first week back, because obviously those subjects are normally in an agreement between the opposition and the government, and I'm a party to neither of those, and I wonder when we find out what those subjects were going to be. And on the topic of the finance bill, I wonder what you could do, Mr Speaker, through your good offices, to ensure that there's a timely response to questions which are pertinent to the finance bill. I've had some priority notice questions which have remained unanswered for over a week, which directly bear upon the issue of child benefit, and I wonder what you could do to ensure that the Treasury bench responds quickly.
Gentleman for his point of order. I would make 2 points in response. First, I should imagine that it is the responsibility of the government to table a committal motion so far as the consideration of the finance bill is concerned, and to do so before the rise of the House tonight, on the assumption that the honourable gentleman remains as keenly interested in this matter throughout the day as he is at the moment, and I'm quite sure that's a confident expectation on my part. I suspect that he'll be beetling into the table office to discover at what point the government has tabled that motion, and I hope that offers him some reassurance. Secondly, in relation to the prospective, but as far as he's concerned, delayed answers to his substantive questions, the Deputy Leader will have heard what he has said. I do think it's important that there should be timely and substantive responses to parliamentary questions from colleagues, and I would say only to the honourable gentleman, in the friendliest possible spirit, that not to provide timely responses to the honourable gentleman, the member for Christchurch, is almost as hazardous omission on the part of any minister as to treat in a similar way the Right Honourable Gentleman, the member for Manchester Gorton. And point of order, Mr Ian Paisley.
Mr Speaker, it's been brought to my attention today that the member for Neath has to be charged with contempt of court because of comments that he made daring to criticise a judge in Northern Ireland. I understand this law is obsolete and no longer applied in England and Wales, but he will be charged in Northern Ireland. Have you, as Speaker, been informed about this matter? If not, why not? And are you able to make a ruling or a comment about it?
I'm grateful to the Honourable Gentleman for his point of order. The short answer to him is that I had not been informed of the matter to which the Honourable Gentleman has referred. Ordinarily, the Speaker would be informed only in the circumstance of the arrest of a member, and that is not what is involved here. Beyond that, I think I would say I understand the seriousness with which the Honourable Gentleman treats this issue and how perturbed he is by what he has learned. But the authority of the Chair would be engaged, and the interest of the Chair would be engaged, only if the comments concerned had been made in the Chamber. And my understanding is that the comment to which the Honourable Gentleman is referring from the Right Honourable Gentleman Member for Leith was a comment made by the Right Honourable Member for Neath outside of the Chamber. I can't say more than that at this stage, but if the Honourable Gentleman wishes to communicate outside of the Chamber further on this matter, I'm always interested to hear what he has to say. Point of order, Mr Ian Lucas.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Have you had any indication that a minister from the Department for Work and Pensions will be coming to the House to talk about the new policy of means